this day would never come. They said our sights were set too high. They said this country was too divided, too disillusioned to ever come together around a common purpose. But on this January night, at this defining moment in history, you have done what the cynics said we couldn't do.
Have you ever had a time when there were two things you wanted to watch that were at the same time? Well, on January 20th, 1985, the nation had to choose against the second inauguration of Ronald Reagan against the Super Bowl. Just in case you were wondering, the Super Bowl won. But the question is, what would you have watched?
The inauguration is always taken with an oath, and that oath is taken with a hand upon the Bible, open to a passage of the president-elect's choice. Each president always chooses a different passage, except for Theodore Roosevelt. His inauguration oath, said in 1901, was the only one not sworn in on a Bible.
On January 20th, America will not only have the first African-American president to ever take office, but we also witness the most expensive inauguration in American history. Washington and private organizations are planning on shelling out $150 million on next week's inauguration, crushing the previous prices of both Bush's and Clinton's inaugurations, which had a combined cost of $75.3 million.
I knew it would be a cold day when I was made president. This quote was made famous during William Taft's inaugural speech on March 4th, 1909. The inauguration ceremony was forced inside when a blizzard struck the nation's capital. The storm was so huge that telephone and telegraph lines were disabled. The train stopped all their activity for the day, causing thousands of citizens to miss the event altogether.
George W. Bush's 2005 inauguration marked the first time in U.S. history that an atheist filed a federal lawsuit to ban the prayer in a speech. This same man earlier filed a lawsuit against the federal government demanding the removal of the words "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance. The atheists argued that the prayer would violate the constitutional law separating the church and state.
There will be more than 11,000 U.S. troops that will provide air defense as well as medical and other support in case of trouble during the January 20th presidential inauguration. General Jean Renaud, commander in charge of domestic defense, says they are assigned because of event of this type demands preparedness. Renaud says about 7,500 active duty military and roughly 4,000 National Guard troops will participate in the inauguration of President-elect Barack Obama.
Barack Obama will enjoy his inaugural parade while riding in a behemoth of a Cadillac that befits its nickname, the Beast. The vehicle is thought to have bulletproof glass, a heavily armored body, run-flat tires, and a completely sealed interior to protect against a chemical attack.
The swearing-in traditionally takes place at noon on Inauguration Day at the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C., with the Chief Justice of the United States administering the oath. From the presidency of Martin Van Buren through Jimmy Carter, the ceremony took place on the Capitol's east portico. Since the 1981 inauguration of Ronald Reagan, the ceremony has been held at the Capitol's west front. The inauguration of William Howard Taft in 1909 and Reagan in 1985 were moved indoors at the Capitol due to cold weather. Until 1937, Inauguration Day was March 4th. Since then, Inauguration Day has occurred on January 20th. The 1933 ratification of the 20th Amendment changed the start date of the term.
On January 20th of 1985, Ronald Reagan arrived at the White House for his inauguration the next day. His inauguration took place in the Capitol Rotunda, and due to the freezing weather, his inauguration was the coldest inauguration ever held, with a midday temperature of 7 degrees Fahrenheit.
Barack Obama's presidential inauguration is on Tuesday, January 20th. I found it meaningful and ironic that the inauguration is to come a day after Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, a man who truly believed in equality and peace and was this country's most famous African-American leader. Now we are going to inaugurate possibly the next great leader in a new era in American history.